Sac City. Welcome in to another edition of Pigskins and Pancakes presented by the Sac City Podcast. I am your host, the one and only Vinny Milani, joined as always by my best friend in the whole entire world. Don't mess with him this morning. He is Aaron, the Mukesiah Mukes. And below us, we have your boy, AJ Johnson. It is a beautiful October 23rd morning here in the city. We've got fantasy talk coming your way with rankings, DFS plays, sleepers, streamers, all that and so much more. If you have any lineup questions that you have, drop them in the chat. We will answer them throughout the show. We've got a load of content and talking points today. Aaron, what did you point the finger for?
Get in the chat, man. Get in the chat. Ask your questions. We about to help you win the league. This is fantasy football. Like, what are they? They're doing the election right now, like the midterms. This is like the midterms of fantasy football right now. Like, this is where you're going to win your leagues. You got to go on a run here. Got to get ready for the playoffs. Got to start strategizing how you're going to approach these playoffs. You got big moves. You got people moving teams. Trade deadlines coming up. Aaron's fired up. I finally get a fucking day off. It's great. I'm not in a parking lot. I'm ready.
What did you do yesterday? Snort a whole bunch of cocaine?
Like he is.
No. So I worked a terrible high school football game, and it was terrible. It was homecoming, and it was like watching bad teams. But
it was like watching the Colts and Broncos play on Thursday.
It was like watching a Thursday night football game.
No. It was more like watching Dylan and Vinny playing a fantasy football matchup. But beside the point.
That doesn't make any sense. I'm not sure why you would be watching that happen. Like, why would you be like watching? Like, what do you just have the screen up and you're just like watching it the whole time? Like, oh, I'm watching this.
Yes.
That doesn't sound very atrocious. But all right,
how atrocious. Yeah, it wasn't. The fact of the matter is, everybody's been in the YouTube and they've been talking shit. I love all the comments. Keep them coming.
They did not like your Justin Herbert take.
People
did not like that one.
I don't care. It wasn't a take. Like I told the people on the YouTube, they were facts. Go back to everything I said, record, what he's done, stats, great. He's great. Stats, facts, whatever. But that's not the point. Then they started doing this. And the reason it was on backwards is because I wear my Atlanta hat every day. Then they started getting on me because I'm wearing an Atlanta Braves hat. And I just want people to know, AJ is the one that be repping Atlanta. I work here, okay? I represent South Georgia in an actual capacity of actual work covering these teams. So yes, I do have some of their paraphernalia, if you might say. And so, yes, I do wear it on occasion. I am not an Atlanta fan. However, it gives me great content for my job, which I have to cover Atlanta and Florida sports. So I do wear it. But that's beside the point. Keep coming at me. I hope they're in the YouTube today. Ask me your questions about fantasy and let me help you win, because that's what I do. I win.
Probably not. They're probably the 4 or 5 subscribers we've lost in the past week from the comments section.
You talk about Justin Herbert. I'm out of here.
Hey, we lost 4 and we gained 6. That's what we do, baby.
I'm not worried about it. We've never been about worrying about what people think. We do what we do here in the city. Again, we've got a great fantasy show coming up, but a lot of news broke this past week, and a lot of news broke since we last talked on Friday that I feel like we have to talk about. So let's do things a little different here on Pigskins and Pancakes, and let's drop some morning headlines.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Let's start off with something that we have talked a little bit about on Thursday or Friday's show. If you missed our talk on the Christian McCaffrey trade, our YouTube video is up now, available at the Sac City Pod. We did not talk about the fantasy implications of Christian McCaffrey. Now, if you live under a rock, the Panthers traded Christian McCaffrey to the San Francisco 49ers late Thursday night in exchange for a second, third, and a fourth in the 2023 draft, and a fifth in the 2024 draft. That all really doesn't matter here because, gentlemen, I want to talk about the fantasy implications of Christian McCaffrey now being on the San Francisco 49ers and what you guys think of the impact moving forward he is going to have. He's automatic. He's normally just a top running back, and that's what we talk about all the time. What does this do for them? What does it do for the rest of the 49ers team as a whole? AJ, I'll start with you because we have not really chatted about this trade at all.
Yeah, man. I think with Christian McCaffrey, not much is going to change today because of bye weeks. You might hopefully have a roster spot where you can slot him in as a flex and feel okay. And I say that because it looks like the packaging is going to be a red zone package where Christian McCaffrey is utilized today. That's how much of the playbook he's been able to take in. And when you look at San Francisco, they have, I think it's the second highest expected score rate in the red zone when they're rushing the ball. So I do believe there's a chance Christian McCaffrey can get into the end zone today. As far as going forward, I think this has to do with the trust that they have in Jeff Wilson. While they've given him the bulk of the carries for a while, it's been in and out. You've seen some other players get in there. Tevin Coleman's been utilized. There's been conversation that when Elijah Mitchell gets back, that he would be the guy again. And we know that Kyle Shanahan likes to have a bevy of weapons in the running game that they like to use. So I think with this, what they do with this is Christian McCaffrey is just a guy that they feel that they can trust a lot more, and he will end up being the guy that gets the bevy of the work. And you start to see some of these guys phase out a little bit. And then the last thing I think about is Deebo Samuel. While he had these rushing incentives in his contract and everything, he had already started to come down on the rushing tick. They weren't giving him the carries that they thought they were. So I think they're really looking to get him back into being just utilized as a receiver, and it's going to open up what he's able to do as a receiver. And now you have these defenses really having to focus on the running game again, the receiving game again, and even the tight end with George Kittle being another weapon that they can use. So this is an offense that's really looking to push forward. And if they don't have Trey Lance to do the superior and the spectacular that they thought they would, they're bringing in Christian McCaffrey and let Jimmy G have all the weapons around him. So once again, he can be the fifth or sixth focus when you worry about this San Francisco team.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think much changes. We talked about this, Vinny. I don't think much changes when it comes to Christian McCaffrey's value. For me, Christian McCaffrey was the number one running back in fantasy football going into the season. He's still the number one running back coming out of the season. You talked about expected points and scored, especially in the red zone, and what Christian McCaffrey is able to do. I think his efficiency is going to go up as a player of this, as a member of this offense, because you're talking about an offense that is already super efficient. You have guys like Deebo Samuel and George Kittle that are going to spread the field and allow more space for Christian McCaffrey. So albeit the touches may go down a tick just because of the amount of weapons that the 49ers do have, I think the actual efficiency goes up here. You're talking about a guy that in 2019 was 1,000 and 1,000 rushing, 1,000 receiving. To me, it's not about what Jeff Wilson has done or what Elijah Mitchell did last year. This is about the upside and what Christian McCaffrey can actually bring to an offense. And you got to talk about Kyle Shanahan's scheme more so than anything. Look at the success that guys like Devonta Freeman had, even with Tevin Coleman there. He was the number one overall running back in 2015, 16, or somewhere around there. You saw
17, I think.
Maybe 2017. You saw Alfred Morris have huge success under Kyle Shanahan in Washington as a top running back, and then nothing really after that. So Kyle Shanahan, albeit it's always been somebody different in San Francisco, he loves having one guy be the guy. It's just been lately, it's been a hot hand. It's been, went from Frank Gore to Elijah Mitchell to Raheem Mostert. But when those guys were given the opportunity, it was always just them. It wasn't like they were really rotating backs. I think Christian McCaffrey in the long run is going to have tremendous value. Today, it's going to be a little bit limited, but I do have a sneaky suspicion he plays more than people think. I don't think it's just a red zone package.
Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, he's a smart guy when it comes to just life as well as football. So, I mean, he may have picked up a little bit more, like heard red zone package and knocked that out of the park, showed up and, coach, I know this package, utilize me. I want to play football. And it's back to playing good football. I mean, he's been stuck in Carolina with the Baker Mayfields and the Sam Darnolds and the Matt Rules of the world. Let this man lose.
It's running back.
Christian McCaffrey.
At the end of the day, it's a running back position, and running back is the easiest to translate and say, hey, go right. Hey, go left. Even if I just got to put you in right before the play and say, this is what you're doing, unless we check out of it. So he's a smart football player. He's a veteran. I do think he plays a little bit more today.
Just real quick, this does not have to be long at all. What, if you were to want to take a shot on any Carolina Panthers running backs, is it obviously D'Onta Foreman, or is it, are you going after either of those, or does it matter for them?
I'm not starting any of them unless you are balls to the wall desperate. None of them.
Yeah, you start thinking about bye weeks, and running back is not deep. Everyone picks up running back, so there's not much out there anyway. So if you need a running back, I think I would grab Foreman and I'd stash him, but you're not putting him in your lineup today unless you absolutely have to. And Wilkes has already said, for whatever for what it's worth, that he does plan to split carries as evenly as possible between Foreman and Hubbard. So even when it happens, I don't know if you're going to be able to trust them. Sure, one of them are going to break off a long run, and you're going to say, "Oh man, I could have started him."
Yeah.
And then you start him next week, he gets you a goose egg, and you hate yourself. So just don't torture yourself through it.
That was said perfectly. I think that's exactly how it's going to be from now on for the Carolina Panthers rushing attack. One other bit of information: Russell Wilson is out. We'll obviously get into our actives and inactives in a little bit, but Russell Wilson is officially out for today and maybe for the foreseeable future with a partially torn hamstring. Brett Rippon will be the new quarterback in Denver. Aaron, what's the fantasy impact for guys like Jerry Jeudy, Courtland Sutton, and whichever running back you want to even consider as the guy in Denver?
Tough.
Yeah, I wish I can sit here and say that the fantasy impact was huge today, but it's not because we haven't seen it all year. So this is something we've talked about before. Like I had initially at the beginning of the season, we thought guys like Courtland Sutton would come out and have huge implications on whether he was going to be a number one, a top 10 guy. Well, Russell Wilson hasn't been that. He's been QB 16 this year. So he's only thrown for 300. He hasn't thrown for 300 yards this year, except for week 1 against Seattle, which he didn't play well. He only has 5 touchdowns on the year. I don't know that much changes for Sutton and Jeudy and these running backs. This offense has struggled to score points. I don't think that changes. I still think Sutton's the number one. I still think if you have to pick a wide receiver and you have to put him in your lineup, you take Sutton. He's wide receiver 19 on the season. He's been able to have double-digit targets in three of his 7 or 6 games. I think he is the guy that's you can trust the most. But I'm not happy to play any of them. If you have other options, I'm going other ways. Now, you may not be able to have the luxury of sitting a Courtland Sutton or sitting a Jerry Jeudy at this point. But if you do have to put them in your lineup, just expect that it's not going to be what you've been hoping for since week 1. This is going to be a lower volume of offense. It's going to be somebody they're going to probably rely on the running game a lot and that defense. And I don't expect Brett Rippon to play that one.
Well, he doesn't expect him to play that well.
So remember, we talked about it. Denver picking up like big time fantasy value this year, and now they've been one of the worst in fantasy value when it comes to position. So just temper your expectations, but I don't think much changes from weeks 2 through 6.
Yeah. I was shocked that it was a hamstring. We were hearing all this stuff about his shoulder he was playing with, and, he didn't know if that was going to be right for a while. And now you look at the injury report and it's not, the shoulder's not even on there. It's just the hamstring. And I won't say I'm surprised that they held him out. If you're already playing this bad, you've already devoted so much money to him. You have more years to think about looking at your season where it is right now. So, make sure he's healthy and then try to salvage what you can when he does come back and go forward from there.
Is it? Let's play this game here real quick, Aaron. You mentioned with Courtland Sutton and actually being in your lineup, and maybe even Jerry Jeudy. Would you rather start Courtland Sutton or Jacoby Myers?
Give me Sutton. No. Yikes! Neither one. If I had to pick one. If you were desperate to pick one, I guess I would say Jacoby Myers, but I don't love it.
AJ?
Mac Jones coming back. I think that Jacoby Myers is back in line to look a little better. Not that Bailey Zappi hasn't been good, but Mac Jones looks for Jacoby Myers. So
honestly, if that's your option, I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah,
just go find somebody.
100%.
There's got to be somebody on your waiver wire, and I'm dead serious about
I agree.
this. There are
Absolutely.
guys like Wan'Dale Robinson that are available. I would start him over both of those guys. There are guys out there on the waiver wire that might be better than those.
Would you start Alec Pierce over him?
Yes,
I would.
Yes,
I would.
definitely.
Would you start
Alec Pierce over both?
Would you start DJ Moore over him?
I want to say no. I want to say no because here. Let me. I'm going to use this again later. He started off saying we are in the middle of the season. We kind of know what's what. And he couldn't get it done with Baker Mayfield. PJ Walker threw for 60 yards last week. If Sam Darnold's back there next week, maybe. But we're talking about today. I don't know that I can trust that.
I say yes. I say I start DJ Moore over both Jacoby Myers and Cortland Sutton this week for a couple of reasons. One, I think Tampa Bay's way ahead in that game. Two, last week they ran the ball in Carolina. The reason they didn't throw it very much is because they had Christian McCaffrey. They don't have Christian McCaffrey anymore. They can't just rely on Dante Foreman and those boys. I know it's hard, and I know it might not pan out well. Again, I would stay away from DJ Moore. And yes, I'm still sorry, but I probably would lean DJ Moore out of the three. And then just pray, like get on my hands and knees and pray for the best. But again, I'm telling you, there's somebody on your waiver wire that's better today. I'm telling you, it's going to be a Wan'Dale Robinson. It's going to be a Nico Collins. It's going to be a somebody that's out there that's going to be better for you. If you have another option.
Thornton.
No, I don't like that either.
Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Not tomorrow. I think remember the Chicago Bears pass defense,
their pass defense
is legit. And I worry about Mac Jones tomorrow. So I just don't love it.
Donovan Peoples-Jones. That's the last one.
Sure.
Great. All right. That does it for our morning headlines. Let's shift gears here and let's get into your rankings here. If you're new to the show, we go through Aaron's top 24 running backs, top 24 wide receivers, and his top 12 quarterbacks and tight ends. We kick things off with the running backs, talking about these gentlemen who rank high on your list: Saquon Barkley, Austin Eckler, Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, and Leonard Fournette round out the top 6 running backs this week for Aaron. AJ, I'm going to start with you. Ken Walker on this list falls in at number 12. I think this might, Aaron, I can't remember. Correct me if I'm wrong. This might be the first time Kenneth Walker is a RB1 according to your rankings. I don't know if you had him last week as an RB1, but right now he's ranked at 12. AJ, what do you like about Ken Walker this week?
Yeah, to me, that's a perfect spot for him. When I first saw his name, I was like, wow, he put him right at the bottom, a fringe RB1, low-end RB1. I think that's a good idea. After last week, dominated the backfield, 21 carries, 97 yards. Even got a little bit of passing game work. I don't know if they're going to keep trending up from there. 3 targets, but 2 receptions, and that might not have been something you would have said about him in college. His hands were bricks back then. So he's already improving a little bit in the NFL. Putting him here against the Chargers defense, you really like the matchup. So for some people, they look at it and go, oh, man, Ken Walker's going to feast. And while he might, we've seen it one week, where he really got the touches. He really got the go-ahead. And this will be the second week after Rashad Penny's injury has gone down. DJ Dallas wasn't a factor. So I would imagine this week that Ken Walker gets the majority of the touches again. And on a defense allowing about 5.8 yards to carry, this is something that you can take advantage of and see if he can do it. So sitting at 12, he has that opportunity, that potential to do that. I would imagine if we'd seen this 2 or 3 weeks in a row, Aaron might have him a little higher.
Honestly, I wanted to put him higher now. I like him. I like him a lot. It's a great matchup against the Chargers. We talked about the Chargers run defense being poor. You look at the usage and the volume. Obviously, Kenneth Walker is going to be the guy now, and that's the biggest deal. He played 70% of the snaps last week as the first time being a starting running back, got 21 carries, saw 3 targets. I actually don't think Kenneth Walker's hands are bricks or ever were bricks. They just had him in an offense that didn't throw the ball to the running back at Michigan State, especially this last year, and Wake Forest never used him before he transferred. So I think he has some ability in the pass game because he's a dynamic runner. 12 broken tackles. 12 broken tackles last week. That's insane. Those are Javonte Williams-esque numbers when we talked about him last year. So I like that going forward. I think he's a hard runner. I think he's the only option in that backfield with massive upside in an offense that looks to be good. Like, this is not just a fluky offense. This is an offense that has been able to move the ball with Geno Smith and the weapons on the outside. I think Kenneth Walker is a great play today. I think he's a lock RB1. I wanted to put him a little bit higher, but I like some of the matchups above him with the talented guys that I have there volume-wise, because Seattle still has that, maybe it's the stigma of, maybe they have a bad game. Maybe they fall back into being Seattle, or Geno struggles and the Chargers just get too far ahead and they have to throw the ball a lot and he gets, kind of game scripted out. So, but I do think if the game is close, Kenneth Walker is an excellent play.
I think there's another running back I would have Ken Walker over, and you mentioned you'd even consider bumping him up higher, but the way things shook out a little bit, you had him at 12. Breece Hall this week at 10 against Denver. Obviously, Breece Hall's been great. This is not a knock on Breece Hall. I think he's a great running back. I think he's doing well in New York. And I think what the game plan is for him there is to just feed him. But going up against Denver Broncos defense that, I mean, we talk about this defense being one of the best in the NFL, 12th against the run in terms of fantasy. What's your confidence level this week in Breece Hall? And is that maybe one player that you'd consider maybe looking at it now, looking back at it, saying, okay, maybe Ken Walker over Breece Hall, or are you confident in him this week?
I'm confident in Breece Hall every week. Breece Hall is a top 10 running back for the rest of the season. And I say that very confidently because he can't be game scripted out. We talk about the most valuable running backs in the NFL, and from a fantasy perspective, are guys that are not game scripted out of it. So he gets work in the pass game and he can run the football. And we've seen what the Jets have tried to do to him. There's been multiple times this year where Breece Hall has had massive targets. He's had a 9-target game, an 11-target game, and a 6-target game. The last couple of weeks, they've been ahead in games. They haven't needed to throw the ball as much, but he's had 18 and 20 touches on the ground. Still 20 touches in 3 straight games, almost 4 straight games. The volume is there. The upside is there. The talent is there. The opportunity. Give me all the Breece Hall I can get. And this is a guy that I was wrong on at the beginning of the season. I did not like Breece Hall this year. I thought there might be too much of a running back by committee and a split, but the Jets they've been focused on splitting those touches, but they've done it in a way where both people get involved. And Breece Hall's got his number of touches. His snap percentage has gone up. This looks more like Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard timeshare split than some of those 50-50 splits we thought that would be at the beginning of the season.
Okay. All right. Well, there's your running backs 1 through 12. Like the list. No injury concerns for Jonathan Taylor coming back, by the way. That's not a thing. Jonathan Taylor is Jonathan Taylor.
According to all the reports.
Oh.
Should I?
According to all the reports,
if they have him on the field, he's that.
You broke up. We're just trying to guess the blanks.
I saw. Basically, I said Matt Ryan said they're not throwing 58 times again, and that JT is back. So I expect them to give him a heavy workload.
All right, let's
go. The word used was electric.
Yeah,
he's electric right now.
Yeah, that is true. Jonathan Taylor's a special running back. Let's go to your 13 through 24. Dameon Pierce, Aaron Jones, Ezekiel Elliott, Najee Harris, Christian McCaffrey, Raheem Mostert, 13 through 18 there. Let's talk about one of the players, though, here that really he's kind of taking over headlines early in this morning. It was reported from the Kansas City Chiefs that Isaiah Pacheco will be the running back 1 for this team this week against San Francisco. You have him there at 19. Aaron, your thoughts on Pacheco being the guy in Kansas City and your fantasy outlook for him?
He gets there because I like the passing down usage. If he's going to see more snaps, I don't love him today. I'll be honest. I had Clyde Edwards-Helaire there when I felt like he was going to be the starter. So I don't think it's going to be some massive difference. I just think Isaiah Pacheco is a little bit more dynamic in the pass game. So I think that helps. If you were one of the guys that stashed him, I think that's a perfect time to get him in there, play him as a flex play during these bye weeks. But temper your expectations on Pacheco. That is going to be a running back by committee. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is still going to play. Jerick McKinnon is still going to play. The upside is going to be capped for every Chiefs running back for the remainder of the year because it's going to be an RBBC. But if Pacheco is getting the bulk of the work, I do like his upside, and that could be a big win for some people that have stashed him.
Yeah, I think this is a trap. Like that's not to say like he's going to do bad, but I think like you said, this is a trap to where this is like, okay, yeah, great. He's the running back 1. He's going to be the starter for the Kansas City Chiefs, but really like that, this is still the Kansas City Chiefs. We've seen this play out before with the running back position. Sure, they could have a great game. Clyde's had great games in the past, but it's always
look at the numbers. Like he went from having listen to the numbers. Game 1, he played 23% of the snaps. Then it went 9, 8, 21%. Then 2 weeks ago, he played 3% of the snaps, got 1 carry, and didn't do anything. Last week, he played 15% of the snaps. Now, all of a sudden, he's the starter. There's something fishy about, and again, starting the game doesn't mean anything. It really is about how much you're actually playing. And then you talk about who they're playing against. Number one in the NFL against in yards per play against the 49ers defense. They get back Nick Bosa. Like you said, trap. Yeah, it's very much like this. Don't get too caught up. It could be a trap. But if he gets 35 to 40% of the snaps, could he have 4 or 5 catches, another 7-8 carries and get you decent fantasy production on the day and be a flex? Sure. I put him in my RB2 spot because I like the word starter. And if you're getting labeled the word starter at this point, I'll take it.
Especially on a Kansas City Chiefs offense that's just as good as they are. No matter what position you are, you're going to get that little boost as a starter and on that Kansas City Chiefs offense. At number 15, you have Ezekiel Elliott against Detroit here. Ezekiel Elliott now gets Dak Prescott back as his quarterback. AJ, your thoughts on him being slotted there at 15?
Yeah, I'm happy to say this. I think that's too low for Ezekiel Elliott. And, I haven't been high on Zeke for a minute. But I think he has a great matchup. I think the atmosphere and the culture with Dak Prescott coming back is going to lend to this offense and having a little bit of success. And the matchup is prime. You're talking about the 31st run defense in the league. And with the volume that Ezekiel Elliott gets, even with Tony Pollard and the way they share that ball, I think he's going to have himself a great day. I look for him to kind of cut this defense up. You look at last week, he had one of his best games, 13 carries, found the end zone. If you can replicate that, get maybe 16, 17 touches, find the end zone. Maybe he gets, who knows? Maybe he falls in twice. Who knows? I think this offense is going to have himself a great day, and which is going to lend to them running the ball a bit more down the stretch. Even with what the offense of the Detroit Lions have been able to do, I don't know if that's the case this week. So I love Zeke today. I think he's going to be a great play in all formats, and I fire him up. I think he has the best chance on your list, at least at that high end part, to actually get into the RB1 conversation this week.
Yeah, I've been kind of bullish on Zeke trending upwards as we move throughout the year. Over the last 4 games, at least 16 touches or 75 yards in the last 4 games. So he's trending upwards, and the snap percentage share that everybody keeps complaining about or wanting to complain about hasn't changed. It is 60-40, right. Ezekiel Elliott to Tony Pollard. Sometimes Zeke gets 70 when they're ahead. I think this is a game where they're going to be ahead. You're talking about a defense that is atrocious. I think Dak Prescott is going to come back and try to prove a point, but it's going to start with the run game. The defense for the Detroit Lions, they can't stop anybody. I mean, they really can't. They're the worst rush defense in the NFL, averaging 167 yards against with Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott. That thunder and lightning, I think it continues today. Expect Ezekiel Elliott to find a way to get in the end zone today and have a good day for him. And I think him and Pollard both can finish as RB2s on the day.
Nice. Yeah, both your guys slotting in here, both in the top 24. And it's just at this point trying to predict which side of the ball or which position group for the Dallas Cowboys has that big day against a tough or against not a tough, but like on the opposite end, like a tough as in a defense that has a hard time doing good in the Detroit Lions. One last note here I want to touch on before we move on to your wide receivers, Aaron Jones against the Washington Commanders here. This has been a running back group for the Green Bay Packers. You have both Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon as RB2s this week. After us talking about the biggest concerns for the Green Bay Packers being them not running the ball enough, you think this is the game that they get back on track and they figure it out and say, okay, let's give it to our best players here?
Yeah, I have a sneaky suspicion this is an Aaron Jones breakout game. This is one of those 30-point Aaron Jones type games. Washington is bottom 10 against the run. We saw what some teams were able to do against Washington, what Dallas was able to do against Washington on the ground. I think that continues. I think Green Bay finally maybe has a little bit of a breakout game here on the offensive side of the football. Look for Aaron Jones to have a big day in the passing game as well, and I expect A.J. Dillon to fall into the end zone. Big days for the running backs for both Dallas and Green Bay. Both of them have 2 top 24 running backs.
There you go. Let's move to your wide receiver position. Tyreek Hill at number 1, Devontae Adams, CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase, Deebo Samuel, and Michael Pittman Jr. Going up against the Tennessee Titans here. One name on this list, actually 2 names on this list, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, they get their quarterback back this week in Tua Tagovailoa. And it's not to say that they have been bad without Tua, because they've still been great. I love to see both them in the top 10 because they are two special talents. They get their quarterback back this week. It's going to be special to see those two on the field again. One player I have a little bit of concern about, not concern like, oh, I'm not starting him, but almost like tempering expectations, and that's Davante Adams. And it's not, he's great. He's going up against Houston. It's a bad matchup. It is what it is. Like the writing is on the wall. Bad defense, all that. But the game script is what I have the concern with, because I think you look at the way Houston plays, like they've been the worst against the run than they have the pass. And I just worry about him not finish. This is really just nitpicking here. This is really me just trying to find a wide receiver to talk about in your top 12. That's not a bad pick, because this is a great top 12. This is a great top 12, but I just want to talk about we have to talk about one wide receiver from this group, so it has to be Davante Adams. That's where I'm going.
So okay, now you're making it a little bit more clear. But I mean, the real question is, since when has Houston been game scripted out of any game? They played 6 games. They haven't been game scripted out of any of them, matchup or no matchup. And it's Davante Adams. If they're game scripted out, it's probably because Davante Adams scored 2 or 3 touchdowns in the first half, and they don't need him anymore. So he's probably already got his fantasy production for the day. I don't know if I buy that. This is a pristine matchup for the Raiders. I like Derek Carr. I like Davante Adams. I like Josh Jacobs. I like Hunter Renfrow. Give me some Mac Hollins if he plays. Foster Moreau, slide him in there. Like, you're starting your Raiders today. I told you they're off a bye week. They are going to come out. They are going to come out with something to prove, and they get a Houston matchup at home. This is a good spot for the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm firing all my Raiders up today.
All right, there's no that's what I was going to add. Like, the only other person I could consider talking about here was DK Metcalf, because it's like, okay, what's giving you that feeling it's going to be a DK day? But the potential of note, well, Tyler Lockett has not been officially ruled out or active.
Tyler Lockett is supposed to play, but DK Metcalf and him have done fine together. So he just has more upside than Tyler Lockett.
Yeah. Let's get into the real questions here at the wide receiver position, 13 through 24. There are names that stand out, at least to AJ and yourself here. Chris Godwin, Tyler Lockett, Alan Lazard, Cortland Sutton, who we just talked about a few moments ago, Amari Cooper, Deontay Johnson, your 13 through 18 there. AJ, let's actually talk about him. Tyler Lockett there at 14.
Let's jump in. Yeah, man. I just made a move for him in another league, and I'm happy with that going forward. But today I have a little bit of worry, and I'll be honest, some of it is personal, but the other part of it is what I'm going to let you know here. We look at Tyler Lockett, and the consistency that we've had weeks 2 through 5 is why you want Tyler Lockett. 19 points, 16 points, 13 points, 27 points. Consistency as far as double digits goes, and what Geno Smith has been able to do, find him where he's best, and that's deep down the field. But Tyler Lockett is playing with an injury, and I don't like it. He's got a hamstring injury. He hasn't practiced all week, and yet it looks like he's going to play today. Now, you look back last week, apparently he played 81% of the snaps, and he had that hamstring injury. What did? He put up 3.2 fantasy points. That's not something you want. I look back to when I played T. Higgins a couple weeks ago when he had a hamstring injury, and they took him out in the first half, goose-egged you. I think back to Gabe Davis with the ankle injury, played him a week early, 3 points. I just don't think when you played a guy with an injury and he didn't show up, that he doesn't practice all week. Hamstring injuries are tricky. We've watched him keep guys out for a week. We watched him keep guys out for 3-4 weeks. We've watched guys play with it when they shouldn't have, and it hurts them even worse. So if he plays, I think if you're going to start him, you need to temper your expectations. With bye weeks, I understand Tyler Lockett's one of those guys that if you have him, you're probably putting him in your lineup. But I don't know if you have matchups somewhere else on your bench that could probably garner you a 12-point flex production, 12-point day or something. I might go that route. I think Tyler Lockett's just a scary play today, and if you can pivot, I would.
You're on mute.
Sorry, I didn't expect you to bring me up. I wasn't
in the
paying
chat.
attention. I wasn't paying attention. I don't have anything to say about Tyler Lockett. I don't have anything to say about Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett, he's been good. AJ said it. Like, I don't have anything here. I don't. I'll be honest. I just said it with DK Metcalf. I'm starting my Seattle offense. I do understand and I agree with the injury concerns of a Tyler Lockett's hamstring, but it's too good of a matchup, too favorable of a. I think that game's going to be high scoring. I'm starting all my Chiefs, all my Seahawks today. So.
All right. Well, this has been a really great wide receiver conversation so far. Let's hopefully we can save it here at 21. You have Brandon Ayuk against the Kansas City Chiefs. What stands out to you, Aaron, about Brandon Ayuk?
Yeah, I mentioned him in the fantasy show. I think this is I think a breakout is coming. And I know I've said this before about Brandon Ayuk last year, but I really do. I've liked what they've been doing to get him the ball. And now when you add in Christian McCaffrey, so much attention goes to Deebo Samuel already. Now you get Deebo Samuel garnering attention. You get George Kittle garnering attention, and you get Christian McCaffrey garnering attention. Who does that leave in one-on-one coverage? A lot, and that's Brandon Ayuk. And he's a very good route runner. He knows how to get open, and he has to go and make plays. And I think this is a guy that can do that. I look for him to continue to trend upwards. You saw last week against an Atlanta secondary. By the way, I know they got banged up in that game, but before they got banged up, he was going off, and that was against A.J. Terrell and Casey Hayward, one of the better secondaries in football, and he had 11 targets, 8 catches, 83 yards, and 2 touchdowns. This guy is a very, very talented player. We saw it last year at times. We've been waiting for him to kind of break out, and I think he could do that this year, and I think this is the time it has to happen, and I think it starts today in Kansas City. They're going to likely have to score in order to keep up with Kansas City. We know how they can do, how they can put up points. He finishes he's at wide receiver 25 now. I think he takes that leap up into the top 24, and he has a good day here against Kansas City.
AJ, how does that make you feel talking about Brandon Ayuk in this way?
Yuck. Hey, listen. If he can get it, if he gets it done, it's just because he said like no one's paying attention to him. I don't like his consistency. I hope for the best for him. I don't trust it.
I mean, he's as consistent. He's about as consistent as every other wide receiver in the NFL.
That's fair, I guess.
All these guys are inconsistent unless you're like the studs.
Well, he was once upon a time supposed to be a stud.
By the way, Chuba Hubbard is announced as the starter.
Yeah, that isn't newsworthy. That isn't newsworthy.
What do you mean it's not newsworthy? Hold on. How are you going to ask me the question in the Christian McCaffrey talk and then say it's not newsworthy that he's not announced as a starter? I think that absolutely is because AJ Johnson literally just told everybody if you're going to pick somebody, maybe you choose Deonta Foreman. Chuba Hubbard is the starter.
Really, it's if you're going to go choose somebody, don't choose somebody. Let it go. Just let it go. Let it ride. Don't worry about it.
Choose somebody. Choose the guy. Choose the guy they named as the starter. Choose.
Yeah.
He's gonna get 45% of the snaps, and then Deonta Foreman is gonna get the hot hand. And
maybe that might happen, but I'm gonna go with the guy that's the starter.
That's fair. I have to defend my choice now. That's all.
Let's move on to the quarterbacks here. Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert. Oh man, Justin Herbert there, number 2. Oh boy, now you're flip flopping. Justin Herbert sucks. Now he's good. I'm kidding. It was a joke. Relax. Pump the brakes. I see you looking at me like that. Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Dak Prescott, and Tom Brady round out your top 6. I will take my victory lap now, saying I told you guys Tom Brady wasn't it last week. He wasn't it last week, finished, I think, as the QB 15 or something like that. Take my victory lap on that. But AJ, Aaron Rodgers at number 10. You texted me this that you have him too high. And that I did my rankings. I did the rankings. I put the graphics together and I had to look at it. And that's in pre-show. And I was like, yeah, like this is right. And then I saw it 10. I'm like, too high for Aaron Rodgers at 10? You'd have him even lower?
Listen, so I'll say this first. My initial thought on it after I was like, I'm really worried about this offense first. Let's just start there. Then I started looking at my research and my basis for why I felt he's too high. And in all honesty, this is probably where he should fall. You look at the last 2 or 3 weeks, the quarterback 10 on the week is around 17, 18 points. You look at Aaron Rodgers, the last 4 weeks, basically put up 16, 17 points week in and week out. That's about where he's at. So this is where he should fit. But then you look at the matchup against the Washington Commanders. and you should salivate. They have not been good. Aaron Rodgers should go off. Yet I don't feel like he's going to go off because I have not seen him be able to connect with these wide receivers to any level of consistency. We get excited about Romeo Dobbs a week. The next week, everyone wants to fire him up. He puts up a dud. Allen Lazard's able to find the end zone, but outside of that, if he's not in the end zone, he is not finding himself a productive enough fantasy day. You got excited because you put Christian Watson's out and you got these guys are injured and you look for another receiver coming in. Sammy Watkins might come back now that Randall Cobb is gone. Sammy Watkins is probably going to be out. Even if he was in, it was probably because they were forcing him to play. This offense going up against the Commanders give up the 8th most fantasy points to quarterbacks. And I don't know that I trust that Aaron Rodgers is going to find his receivers enough that he's going to fall into 10. I do think it's going to be a big running back day for them. Maybe that's how he gets his points is he dinks one off to Aaron Jones and he goes for 50 yards and a touchdown or something like that. But outside of that, I want to believe, and I just don't believe that this offense is going to give me a top 10 day for Aaron Rodgers. I think the guys below him, Matt Ryan or Marcus Mariota, might have an opportunity to have a better day today, and that also factors into it. Not so much of just him being bad, but the guys that you might have below him might have a good enough day with some of the tools and the matchups they have to push Aaron Rodgers down to a 12 or 13.
Do you listen to AJ talk and it's almost like he's cringing as he's saying because he's almost trying to convince himself that he's right? It's so funny. He's like, it's like I don't want to, but I got to, and he is, but he might
it's
not
just
be.
How it feels.
It's just
how it feels.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers hasn't been good. He's the 20th rated quarterback on the season. But Washington gives up almost 20 points a game to the quarterback position. I'm not going to quibble over where we have them ranked because I think I had them 10th against quarterbacks. And you said 8, but somewhere around there. So they're bottom half of the league against quarterbacks. Look, it's quarterbacks a bad. Look at the quarterbacks. If you bring up the rankings, look at the quarterbacks. And we talked about normally quarterbacks a deep position, but the scoring is down in the NFL. This is a tribute to the defense. The scoring is down in the NFL. Do you trust Justin Fields? I don't know. Do you trust Trevor Lawrence? I don't know. Who do you trust?
If we were to compare this QB 1 through 12 to last year's QB 1 through 12, this is disgusting. When you have Geno Smith, you have Derek Carr, you have Justin Fields, and Trevor Lawrence. While you guys talk about this, I'm going to try and do some research on one of our last list, week 7 of last year, QB 1 through 12 versus the week 7 of this year. You guys talk amongst yourselves.
I will tell you, I talked about this before. The defenses are better this year. The scoring is down in the NFL across the board. If we look at the first half of this year, the games are not. We start picking games at the beginning. You were like 35, 31, and 30. No, these games have been 19, 16, 23, 17, and we have this narrative in the NFL about it's an offensive league. Well, defenses are still finding a way to play well, or is it that this is just bad football on the offensive side of the football, on the offensive side of the ball? Is it coaching mistakes? You look at those top quarterbacks and none of them look like top quarterbacks.
Right.
Like there's such a gap between Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, and everybody else. And it's kind of.
Yeah, you look at it, and I was thinking the same thought process. The quarterback market this season it's fallen off a little bit. And outside of top 5, everybody else, is it your week is the question you have to hope for, and you're likely to miss out on those guys, which is why you're just starting the guy you had at the top and let go. I honestly played Russell Wilson probably 1 week too long, got 1.5 good game out of him. Like that was it. And I was thinking between quarterbacks so bad that I was getting ready to bench Russell Wilson. And my options were Jimmy G, Marcus Mariota, Ryan Tannehill. It's coming down to things like that. Zach Wilson, who is literally just to hand the ball off to Breece Hall. And if he gets the opportunity, sure, he'll throw it 20 yards down the field to who? Corey Davis, because why would it be Garrett Wilson, the rookie you picked up in the first round? Because that would just make sense, right? So you don't really trust a lot of the quarterbacks you're playing with. And then the guys you look at, the guys to be Hall of Famers and an Aaron Rodgers and a Tom Brady, and they're putting up weeks like poorest week against Pittsburgh last week in Tom Brady, the QB14, when they had no secondary at all. Aaron Rodgers, I don't think he has a 20-point performance on the fantasy year. And those are guys that are surefire first ballot Hall of Famers. And we're talking about in the quarterback market this year. So the whole position, you are correct, is down. And that's why I'm okay to feel like he might not be able to put up.
To be fair, and I know Vinny's doing his research and probably has it. He's good at it. But to be fair, Matt Stafford, Kirk Cousins, Jalen Hurts, and Josh Allen are all on buys. Those are 4 top 10 quarterbacks. So we do have this week. It looks ugly, week 7, but 4 top quarterbacks are on bye weeks. We have to at least mention that.
Was it week 7 bye Mageddon last week?
You said what?
I don't know if this is bye Mageddon week. I don't know if week 7 last week was bye Mageddon, but I will say I did my research and I really wish I didn't because week 7 of last year included Sam Darnold, Matt Ryan, Derek Carr. Yeah, so week 7 last year did not look as great as it did, but this was this was what it was. Comparing the two.
Last year, Derek Carr would have made sense. Matt Ryan.
Well, Josh Allen must have been on a bye.
Yeah, Josh Allen.
Wait. And we have to mention this as well. We do have to mention this as well. Kyler Murray's not on there because he played Thursday. So there is a little caveats there that have bumped everybody up. 4 big quarterbacks on bye. 1 played Thursday night. That's 5 quarterbacks there. Those rest of the guys probably moved down in 13 through 18. So
well, that was fun traveling back in time and looking at it. Aaron, you were in a hotel during that episode. It was me and you, and it was I was at my mom's, and you were at a hotel. Neither of us were in our own places, and it was a mess.
I wonder where I was.
I don't know. I don't know what was going on. But that's our quarterbacks 1 through 12. Let's finish things up in the rankings with the tight ends, the usual suspects. Really, the usual suspects is kind of dwindling down now. It's just the usual suspects in Travis Kelce at 1 and Mark Andrews at 2. We're starting to get some change throughout the rest of the tight end rankings. Gerald Everett at 3, George Kittle, Kyle Pitts, Big Bob Tunyon round out the top 6. And then we got David Njoku, Pat Freiermuth, TJ Hawkinson, Mike Gesicki, Evan Ingram in a revenge game, and then Cole Kmet at 12. AJ, your boy Kyle Pitts. He scored last week. He got a touchdown. It was a great day for Kyle Pitts, but you think he's too high right now?
Yeah. First touchdown on U.S. soil. That's great. I'm very happy for him for that touchdown. But I'm really sad as an Atlanta Falcons fan, and as a Kyle Pitts fantasy owner. Look, it's 7 weeks in. The writing is very clear. It's in big, bold letters. They're not using him the way they need to. Kyle Pitts has not been what we need him to have. And as much as the talent and the upside that he has, it doesn't matter if they don't utilize him. Halfway through the season, he had his touchdown last week, but he was held to 19 yards for the 3rd time in 5 games. Without that touchdown, it would have been his 3rd 3.9 fantasy point game of the season. On this year, he's ran 93 routes. He has 25 targets, 13 catches, 169 yards, and a touchdown. Atlanta is running the ball. That's what they want to do, whether it's with Tyler Algier, Caleb Huntley, when one of the Williams gets back, with Marcus Mariota. They're running the ball, and that's hindering what Kyle Pitts is going to be able to do, because even when it is time to throw the ball, and I'm happy to hear this, they're throwing it to Drake London, or Olamide Zaccheaus is coming across the field for a crossing route and gets 17, 18 yards and steals a touchdown. I love Kyle Pitts' talent, but when it comes to it at this point, most people aren't holding 2 tight ends. So, yeah, obviously you're starting him, but at this point, you know what you're getting. But frankly, I would rather have a guy like David Njoku, who hasn't had less than 6 targets since week 2, hasn't had less than 50 yards since week 2, and could argue is a second passing option on his offense and is actually being utilized. So I do think Kyle Pitts is too high, and it breaks my heart to say so.
Let's do this. Aaron, I know you're going to jump in here and defend your Kyle Pitts ranking, but it's no fun to play this game with you because your rankings are there. I can't ask you who would you rather because it's clearly right there, but I can to AJ, and I'm going to do it here. Kyle Pitts and then we'll look at his rankings and do it from there too. Kyle Pitts or Mike Gesicki?
With Tua back, I'm gonna take Kyle Pitts. Tua looks for Waddle, Hill, and the running backs. So with Tua and Gesicki doesn't get a lot of play.
Kyle Pitts, TJ Hawkinson.
Normally TJ Hawkinson. Actually, even today with no DeAndre Swift. So yeah, I take TJ Hawkinson.
Pat Fryermuth.
I thought about that one. Is Pickett playing or is Trubisky playing?
Pickett's playing. Pickett's active.
I think I take Kyle Pitts.
Okay. All right. Aaron, you can come in now.
I can come in now. Thanks.
He's on one. Don't mess with him.
Anybody who
no.
Who
You
has
said
Kyle
it wrong.
Pitts.
You said it wrong. He's on one. Don't fuck with him.
Fuck with me. Anybody who has Kyle Pitts that is looking to get rid of him, please trade him to me. I'll take him. I don't care what he's done throughout the first 6 weeks of the season. Better days are ahead for Kyle Pitts. Nope, there's no numbers to back it up. There's nothing that I'm just telling you the talent is too good. They invested too much. Kyle Pitts will be just fine. He scored a touchdown last week. That's a step in the right direction. He got you 10 fantasy points on any given week. Tight ends, that's what they are. They're boom or bust. Give me Kyle Pitts each and every day of the week. I'm not more confident today, even with David Njoku, who's had 4 good games in a row. Because you know what could happen? You could wake up and you could see David Njoku from week 1, where he had 1 catch for 7 yards, playing 90% of the snaps. Or week 2, where he went 3 for 32, playing 90% of the snaps. This is what tight ends do. And
but what's more likely? What's more likely? The 4
again,
weeks that he's put up in consistency?
I will take the talent of the guy who last year went for 1,000 yards, which David Njoku has never done.
No, because you're the one who
to.
says last year doesn't matter all the time. So if
What
you have a guy who's going on right now, why would you even?
Resume always matters to me. What I'm saying is I'm not saying Kyle Pitts is going to do what he did last year. I'm saying that tight ends are so bad that I'm going to take the resume and the talented upside of a Kyle Pitts over David Njoku. Because when Kyle Pitts gets it right, whenever Atlanta figures that out, whether that's late in the season, I will be banking that will pay dividends for my fantasy team. I'm not banking on a tight end right now, David Njoku, to win me weeks. Like when I go to my tight end, what do I want? I say this every week when I have tight end. I want 8 to 10 points. If you don't have Travis Kelce or Mark Andrews, it means you probably didn't invest too heavily in them unless you drafted Kyle Pitts in the 3rd round, which I would have cautioned you away from anyways. But if you did, you have to play him. But outside of those 2, there's no tight end that every week is giving you really what you want. Dallas Goedert, maybe this year. Like, that's it. There's nobody else at the draft investment. No, at the draft investment that you drafted him at, giving you what you want. So 8 to 10 points, and I'm happy with my tight end. So I'm not looking and searching for answers at the tight end position.
Right.
If I'm getting 8 to 10 points.
No, tight end's not your premium, but it is a position you have to play somebody in. And if you have Kyle Pitts, you have not been happy. Sure, if you can make it to the playoffs, I'm not saying he'll never be good. I'm saying he hasn't been good. And I'm saying each week, here we are, Kyle Pitts, I can't wait. 3.9 points. If he doesn't get in the end zone last week, 3.9 points for the 3rd time in the season.
Yeah, well, if my aunt had balls, she'd be my aunt.
Whoa, alrighty then. And Jesus Christ didn't want you to finish that one because he made you freeze.
Cool. So, but he hey,
still got it out.
Wait.
Still got it out.
Did it go through?
We got you a little bit.
No, what I was trying to say. Ifs don't matter. He got into the end zone. So we can't all of a sudden take away those fantasy points because he got into the end zone last week.
I'm just telling you what.
That's like saying, well, if David Njoku didn't get 6 targets last week, he wouldn't have scored this many points.
That is not like saying that because David Njoku's got nothing but 6 targets. You know what? Kyle Pitts has not gotten in the end zone that often.
He scored last week and got 10 points. Yes or no?
And I loved it. And it was great. And
that's
Kyle Pitts. Do me a favor though. This is the last thing I say. Next time you're in Atlanta, you get to talk to Arthur Smith. Will you tell him that Kyle Pitts is talented and they invested so much in him, so he'll start using him? Because that's what needs to happen.
He's been asked that question before in press conferences that I've been in, and he continues to say we want to win football games, which I admire, by the way. That's what he's supposed to do. But he has talked about getting Kyle Pitts more involved. But you also got to understand they are a run-first team, and this is why
I said that.
And I don't want – this is not a fantasy conversation right now. But this is why I told you 2 years ago. You don't invest the number 4 overall pick in a tight end that can't block, because what happens is you get a run first team. They put in a tight end that can block, and if they check out of it, guess who's not on the field? Kyle Pitts. That's the biggest reason that his production has declined. He's not on the field. He's not on the field because he's off on run plays because the man can't block. And so when they check out of it or they got to run play action, he's not on the field to catch the ball. I think this gets fixed. I do. I really do think they're going to find ways to get him on the field. Take Olamide Zaccheaus off the field and put Kyle Pitts as
where he is, because he can run that. He can play all over the field. If you can line up Deebo Samuel in a tight end position in San Francisco, why can't you line up Kyle Pitts at any receiver spot in Atlanta? Hello.
I'm just going to say this.
Put Kyle Pitts out of the running back.
One last point about Kyle Pitts. He has the same amount of double-digit fantasy games as David Njoku. It's not.
What league are you looking at?
I'm looking at our league. David Njoku scored double digits twice.
Sorry. Okay. Double digits.
Kyle Pitts has scored double digits twice. Like,
so
and outside of that,
his bad games are bad. His bad games have been 3 points.
I'm going to step in. I'm going to step in here. I'm going to step in here just so we can nip this in the bud because we have to move on. AJ, you think David Njoku has a better day than Kyle Pitts, right?
Today?
That's where we're at? Yeah.
I do.
Today. Okay.
I do.
Aaron, you have Kyle Pitts having a better day than David Njoku, correct?
Yep.
Let's put something on the line here. Let's put it on the board. Next week, during our DFS plays, Aaron gets to make one pick for you if you get it wrong, and vice versa. AJ gets to make one pick for.
Oh, and look who wins in this situation, Vinny.
The fans. The fans get to win.
Hey, it has to be a realistic selection, right? Like, I'm not picking the fourth kicker.
I'm just going to pick your.
You can pick
your.
It can be your last pick, the last pick in your draft, money wise, that fits your budget.
But I mean, like, it's just.
Yeah,
stupid.
not
I'm going to pick a player that's not playing.
Within reason. We're not trying to completely be stupid on this, but Aaron, do you want to talk about your last tight end here that you wanted to mention, or can we move? It's up to you.
No, you can move on. He's not
great, fantastic. That does it for our rankings. We've got to keep moving here. We got to keep rolling. That was good conversations here. We finally got some good chatter out of the tight end position, but that's our rankings. Let's move on to let's do a little bit of injury report.
And it's time for our injury report. All right. Christian McCaffrey. I don't know why he's on the injury report, because he's not injured.
It's the actives report. It's the actives report. It's not injured report. It's the actives report.
It literally says injury report on the damn graphic. Anyways, Christian McCaffrey is not injured, but he is active. Dak Prescott is back for the Dallas Cowboys. We talked about Jonathan Taylor, but they also get back another weapon in the backfield in Nyheim Hines. Damian Harris, active. I don't know how that's possible, seeing that he plays tomorrow night, so they couldn't have announced him active. But who knows what Vinny's thinking there. Tua Tagovailoa is active for the Dolphins tonight. Kenny Pickett should be back tonight as well. Quarterbacks, that's a little thing they're playing against each other tonight. Kenny Pickett versus Tua, both active, or going to be active. Pat Freiermuth also expected back tonight. Mark Andrews is active for Baltimore. Lamar Jackson and Rashad Bateman as well. And Tyler Lockett is active. I'm so confused, Vinny. Anyways.
Hold on.
I don't know what it is you're doing. I don't know what it is you're doing, but we need to talk about this injury.
Hold on. I got you. Hold on. I'm going to fix it. Does that help?
No.
Does that help?
No, it's not that. We'll continue. Let's go to the inactives.
Great. Going over to the inactives.
Or whatever you say.
DeAndre Swift. Inactive inactives.
DeAndre Swift, Jahan Dotson, Russell Wilson, J.K. Dobbins, Christian Watson, Randall Cobb, all out today. Josh Palmer also out. Elijah Moore, we all saw what happened. Again, he's not injured. He's just out. And Darren Waller is injured with that hamstring injury, and he is just out. Yeah, those are your out players today. Vinny, let's come back on the screen.
We can come back on the screen.
Let's talk. Bring AJ back in here too. We're
okay. All right. We're just
I know we're going to get into our other stuff. I know we're late and all that stuff, but it doesn't matter. It's okay. We're a very full disclosure, transparent. Here? Just listen to me. We're a very transparent show. We are a very transparent show. And
Don't
it's
fuck
okay.
with him.
Yeah, don't fuck with him. Can we not? You do this every week, and I brought this up before. Can you not announce players active before they're actually active?
Damian Harris said they said he was going to be active.
Dalton Schultz was supposed to be active last week, and an hour before game time, he was inactive.
But that could be any player. That could literally be any
That's
player.
my point. So this is why when we do a morning show, we only should announce actives for the afternoon games.
But either way, so like if I were to put this up and then Christian McCaffrey gets hurt in warmups, then he becomes inactive. Should I not put him on there?
Well, no, because he's not.
Any player can get hurt in warmups. Any player can get hurt in warmups.
No. First of all, so you're not listening to me. I really
you want this just to be a 1 p.m. actives and inactives.
This would be my recommendation. Let's pull back the curtains. This is a Sac City meeting now, okay? Let's pull back the curtains. I would like to be a separate, if you want to do likely to play or something like that, or there's a report, we can do a separate graphic for that. But
I'll put parentheses on certain players. I'll put likely.
But no, because this is not an injury report. Technically, it's an active inactive list. When they release it 90 minutes before game time and Christian McCaffrey is announced as active, if he goes out in warmups and gets hurt, you know what happens? They are down a roster spot. They don't get to bring somebody back up. He is just then out of the game. He's just being held out. He's actually still active. I'm saying those are announced 90 minutes before game time. So in the mornings, when we have our show, we should do that as an active inactive list. And then maybe have a separate graphic for Vinny to make so he can show off his creativity skills that say for the late games, likely to play or whatever you want to say for them. But they're not actually active until they're announced as active officially.
We're going to pull the curtain back even a little bit more. Aaron, you are now going to be responsible for giving me the injury reports every morning. So good luck live on the fucking show, watching for the injury report to come in and then sending it to me. There you go. It's all yours. Take it. I don't want it. I don't want it. Take it.
Vinny, in your defense, I heard they said Damian Harris was playing like 2 days ago. Like, I was like, oh, David Hick, because I started thinking about Ramondre Stevenson and if I was going to pivot or anything, which I'm not.
Again, and I'm not saying he's not going to play, and I'm not saying that Vinny's wrong by saying he's going to play. What I'm saying is, when I'm being real honest here.
We'll start differentiating between likelies and unlikelies and ins and outs. That's what we'll do. I'll do an injury report I'll do a likelies, unlikelies, outs, and ins. That we'll have 4 different ones. We'll have 4 different ones here. So all right, I need to ride the gondola. I need to take a trip.
Oh, it's
AJ,
Sunday.
I need a vacation. I need a vacation. We're on the stream. I'm in Rome. I'm in the gondola with you.
Yeah.
Give me your streaming defense of the week.
I can do that. You guys know how I like to do this. First and foremost, I apologize for last week. I gave you an actual defense of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I drank the Kool-Aid, and if you know better and you lived around Jacksonville, don't drink anything in Duval. So I apologize for that. They had a shootout of 50
back-to-back weeks.
40. 0. No, the week before I only missed by 1. This time they gave us a goose egg, so I'm sorry.
No. Back-to-back weeks, you started off your streaming defense with apologizing for your pick.
Well, hey, man, if I miss, I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real. What I should have done is I should have just stopped last week with my honorable mention and used them as my actual defense, which I'm gonna do today. And
wait, you mean you should only pick one defense?
No, that's not what I mean at all. That's stupid. Yeah. What? You're not always going to be able to get to one defense, I say. So I give you a backup, okay? I'm sorry. It's today, the honorable mention, you're not going to get them either. It's the Jets. Sorry. Anyways, the New England Patriots last week and today will be my actual defense of the week. Still only rostering about 44% of sleeper leagues. What are y'all doing? Go get them. Go pick them up. I told you the next 3 weeks, you can strike up the Patriots and be very happy about it. Double-digit points in the last 2 weeks, and some leagues 3 weeks. I don't know why they're so different. It's defense and special teams. They should all just be like streamlined. But either way, multiple sacks, 4 sacks last week, 2 forced fumbles, 2 interceptions. They know how to turn the ball over, and they're going up against the Chicago Bears, who even though they run the ball about 54% of the time, Justin Fields still leads the league with 3.8 sacks per game, tied with Carson Wentz for that. So I look for there to be lots of turnovers. I look for the New England Patriots to live in the backfield, and I look for possibly another double-digit day for the New England Patriots defense. If they're out there, grab them. Don't think twice about it. Be very happy, and I will not be apologizing for a 3rd week in a row. That's how you stream the gondola, baby. Get off my boat.
If you get it wrong again, we're gonna have to find a new gondola driver or something.
Maybe we just need something new. Maybe we don't need to be in a gondola. Maybe we should get in a bullet train or something.
We might just do this. Pull up all 3 of us again and just pull the curtain back and talk about it on the show again for who's gonna be picking your streaming defense. Get out of here. Well, actually, I'm gonna bring you back.
Last time I was wrong. You swapped it, and I had sleepers, and you gave the streaming D to Dylan when I was missing out. So who knows?
And now for your sleeper of the week.
Well, I'm not apologizing because I gave you 2 sleepers last week, and both of them hit, and Wan'Dale Robinson and Traquan Smith. So if you listened, I told you, pay attention to what I'm doing because this is what I do, baby. Anyways, I got something special for you guys today. The sleeper of the week, you guys will never believe it because I would never do this normally, but I'm taking a tight end. That's right, an actual tight end. Aaron is going to take a tight end sleeper this week. And it might not be the one you think of. A lot of people are out there, they're like, go get Foster Moreau because Darren Waller's out. It's a great matchup against Houston. I said it. That's great. Go get Foster Moreau. You might be able to do something with him. My sleeper tight end. Go get him right now. Cade Otton of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's right, Cade Otton. I said it. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Cade Otton, tight end. 56% of the snaps last week. Only 2 catches for 23 yards. But get this. Last week, Cameron Brate tried to play, didn't go. The week before, Cade Otton played 94% of the snaps. Kyle Rudolph has basically been non-existent in this offense. They're playing a Carolina Panthers team who has really good corners, have really good corner play. Cade Otton gets into the end zone today. He's going to get 4 or 5 catches today. Cade Otton, 10+ points. Go put him in your lineup stream of the week.
Wow, the sleeper right there for Cade Otton. I remember talking about him in the preseason, a little Cade Otton action.
You did. And listen, it's not a sexy name, right? It's not a sexy name. And Carolina's been kind of, whatever defensively they have a good defense. I just think that Tom Brady loves tight ends, and he's going to find a way to make this one work.
I like it. You have my full support in a Cade Otton pick. Let's get into our DFS showdown.
What are you talking about? Oh, have you not heard? It was my understanding that everyone had heard. Heard what? Brian, don't! Oh, well, a bird, bird, bird. But birds are well, a bird, bird, bird. But birds are well, a bird, bird, bird.
That's right.
Much
it is
better.
Now time. What?
Much better.
Yeah, I had to do a little tweaking of that. But it is now time for our DFS showdown of the week. This is where all 3 of us match up against each other in a draft-style DFS plays. Aaron, you won last week. You get to decide the draft order this week. What's it gonna be?
Well, hold on. I got to get my lineup first because I think I created a lineup already.
You did. Well, it said you did, but
yeah, I want to make sure. I want to make sure I get. I see if I got to pick my player first. Okay.
I also have set my lineup pre this, and I love this is my favorite. I've submitted this lineup everywhere else. I really like this lineup a lot that I have.
Okay. Well, you're probably not going to get the people that you want. So I am going to go first. I'm just telling you right now. I'm going first, and then I'm going to put Vinny in the middle and AJ on the back end. And I'll just start. And there's a reason why I came in here today with this dog right here.
Son of a bitch.
With this dog right here. He's my dog, and he's going number 1 overall, baby. Josh Jacobs against the Houston Texans. Sign me up. Fantasy winner, Josh Jacobs, number 1 overall pick.
I'll make it easier and take the other dog on the other side. I will take Dameon Pierce as my running back. AJ, you are on mute, sir. That is a minus.
And you lose your pick, so it's my turn again.
Actually, and now you lose your pick because it wasn't your turn, and it'd be my turn. 3 picks in a row.
And I don't care about any of that. We're just going to go back to me. So I'm going to double up on the running backs here, and I'm going to grab Kenneth Walker, and I'm going to grab Zeke Elliott.
My perfect lineup is being shattered.
What did you think you were going to get?
I was really hoping I'd get Ken Walker and Josh Jacobs because those are the guys that I had on my team. All right, well, since that's not going to be the thing, and my lineup is slowly or quickly.
Hey, wait. We got hot girls here. Hot girls are here. Check the chat, baby. Hot girls are here. 63.
Oh, man.
Hot girls are here, baby.
Oh, my God.
Somebody block this clown.
63.
Oh, my goodness. All right, so
got the golden oldies out here.
Now that that's a thing here, I will. I'll just pivot, and I don't know how this is going to work with my budget or anything, but I will go with Saquon Barkley.
It's so funny that Vinny never has a backup plan. He's like, oh, I don't know what to do.
I mean, I have to pivot. I mean, it didn't take me hours to pivot. I automatically
I'm just saying.
Saquon Barkley, so
it's like you thought you were really going to get all of your players.
Nah, yeah, I'm good. I feel good. I'm feeling good.
I will take Austin Eckler against the Seahawks. And then I will also take Dak Prescott against Detroit.
Damn it. Yeah. I will take CeeDee Lamb because that was that's it is fun. And I'm not saying obviously the perfect lineup. It's not possible when we do a draft style. I did have Dak Prescott and CeeDee and on my team as well. So this is we're dwindling here on my perfect lineup that I said I had.
Okay.
All right. So I am going to take, Chris Godwin, and then I will actually also take T. Higgins.
I will take my tight end here, and I will go with Gerald Everett. Is he frozen? Or
I did not hear anything. I did not hear anything that the last three picks at all.
Aaron, okay, well, AJ said T. Higgins and
Chris Godwin.
And I went with Gerald Everett.
Okay, cool. That's great. You guys are awesome.
Yep.
I am going with the Jets defense against Denver.
Damn it, that's another one I had.
And then I will take no. I get 2 picks, sir. And then I will take Michael Gallup against Detroit.
All right. I will take. I'll take Jalen Waddle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to take Joe Burrow, my QB. Put him up with T. Higgins. And then I'm going to go with my little running back, or my little receiver there, my third one over there in Indy, Mr. Alec Pierce today. Let's do some Alec Pierce today. Yeah.
My lineups are in shambles. I will go with Wan'Dale Robinson. I had Alec. That literally every pick that I had in that perfect lineup has been taken. So it's not surprising. I'm not like, and Alec Pierce was on there as well. But I will go with Wan'Dale Robinson.
Okay.
I have no idea who I said my last pick was. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know if did I already take Derrick Henry?
Nope. You have not taken Derrick Henry.
Okay, I'm taking Derrick Henry, and I'm taking Alan Lazard. Wait, how many more picks do I have?
I think we have. I have not taken my quarterback. I have not taken my flex, and I have not taken my defense. So we have 3 picks left. I have 3 picks left. So I would assume you have now 1 pick left or 2 picks left. Something like that.
Okay, yeah, Derrick Henry and Alan Lazard.
Okay, great. I will take my. I've already taken CeeDee Lamb, Wan'Dale Robinson. I've taken Jalen Waddle. You know what? I will go with my flex play, and this is. I have my flex play last, and because you guys I've already had my picks. I'm deciding between Isaiah Pacheco and George Pickens, 2 rookies. And Kenny Pickett loves George Pickens, so maybe that could be a thing. But I'm going to go with the running back here. I'll go with the number 1 that we know is supposed to be the number 1, and I'll go with Isaiah Pacheco.
All right, and I will take my tight end, which is I'll take him. I spoke high on him today, David Njoku. Put him in against Baltimore, and then I will get my defense. Mac Jones is starting. Give me the Bears. Give me the Burrs. The Burrs.
I will go with my defense now, and I will take the Miami Dolphins defense going up against Kenny Pickett on primetime.
Okay, I am going to take DeAndre Carter.
Okay.
As my last wide receiver there. And then I just need my tight end. And it's between my 2 sleeper tight ends, and I don't know which one to take. Foster Moreau or Kate Otten. I'm going to go with Kate Otten as my tight end.
All right. I will go with my last pick, and it'll be my quarterback. I will take Tua Tagovailoa.
And for my last pick, my flex, there's 3 beautiful names right here, and I just don't know which one I want. I'm in here between Amon-Ra, Mike Williams, and Joe Mixon. And
oh wow, you have that much money left over? Are you sure you can financially afford that at this point?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't do that. That's why I took my defense last, see what I had left. If I'm not mistaken, I've given you guys Joe Burrow, Ezekiel Elliott, Ken Walker, Chris Godwin, T. Higgins, Alec Pierce, David Njoku, no flex in the Bears defense. And so Mike Williams against Seattle at 7,200. Keenan Allen is apparently going to play. Maybe not. They're still up in the air from what we're hearing, which bugs me because I do think that changes. Mon-Ra is going to be their only real offense against Trayvon Diggs. I'm gonna go with Joe Mixon. I'm gonna take the stack. I'm gonna get the running back, the quarterback, and a receiver from the team, and hope that offense has himself a day against a banged up, my beautiful Falcons defense. There we go.
I always have the feeling like whenever I take someone who's playing against my team, I'm like, oh, it's gonna end up bad for me because like that's like the reverse. Like, that's kind of how it normally is. But then it ended up working out because then your team wins. But all right, that does it for our
Right.
DFS draft. Aaron, can you read back your team, sir?
Pick me last. I gotta put mine in right.
Great. Then I will go since I did go next.
Yeah.
My quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa. Running back, Saquon Barkley, Damian Pierce. My wide receivers, CeeDee Lamb, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Jalen Waddle. My tight end is Gerald Everett. My flex is Isaiah Pacheco. And my defense is the Miami Dolphins defense.
You pivoted well. You pivoted well from what you thought your DFS was originally. So
yeah, my original team was Dak, Damian Pierce, Josh Jacobs, CeeDee Lamb,
we don't care.
Jalen Waddle, Alec Pierce, Gerald Everett. It was a great team.
Kind of hurts that you think you're going to be able to get all of those playing with us.
I know.
Hey, I got to set that perfect lineup to set my standards here. Got to set the guys that I want.
That's fair. Running back, I know I just did mine, but quarterback Joe Burrow, Ezekiel Elliott, Ken Walker. Wide receivers Chris Godwin, T. Higgins, Alec Pierce, David Njoku is my tight end. I am going to flex the Mixonator. No, we'll keep working that one. And Chicago Bears defense for the cheap, for the low.
I have Dak Prescott, Austin Eckler, Derrick Henry, Michael Gallup, Alan Lazard, DeAndre Carter, Kate Otten is my tight end, Josh Jacobs is my flex, and the Jets defense.
I feel like there's a lot of good teams this week. I think all 3 of us have good teams this week. I think this is like maybe the first week we didn't all just like shit on each other's teams right after we said it.
I'm afraid. I'll be honest. I'm afraid to take Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
I was locking in. I was locking in Dak and see like that's like in all my other lineups.
Every time.
Yeah. Oh man, no, I think you picked him in a good spot.
I'm hoping he just got back. If it happens this time, I quit. I ain't picking no more.
We'll let you pivot to Cooper Rush. We'll let you take Cooper Rush's points at that point. That could be how that works. All right, that does it for our DFS plays, our DFS showdown, our rankings, and all that, and all of our fantasy chatter. It was a great show. We'll be back again live tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern time, recapping all the great action from Week 7 and so much more. Don't miss out on a single Sack City episode. AJ, tell them where they can follow us at.
Yeah. Ladies, gentlemen, hit us up at Sack City Pod on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. You know the deal. You head over there. You hit the like button. You hit the share button. You hit the subscribe button. You hit the notification bell. You make sure if Sack City's on, you are on your couch watching your boys at Sack City Pod Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. And, of course, on Sundays for Pigskin and Pancakes with all your wonderful fantasy knowledge. So once last time at Sack City Pod, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Your boys are back in town. It's football Sunday, baby.
Let's get it.
Yeah.
Let's get it. Best of luck to everybody in their fantasy lineups, except the ones that are playing me. Until tomorrow, though, Week 7 recap live, 10 a.m. Eastern time. I am the one and only Bay Milani. He is my best friend, Aaron Mukes, and he is your boy, AJ Johnson. We will see you tomorrow.
Peace out.
Holla.